Hello, welcome to the November episode of Vegetables Matter, a craft cast about my fiber life. My name's Chloe and I'm coming to you from Utah. This is my kitty cat above me. She's hanging out there, so I thought I'd angle the camera up so you guys could see her. It's a beautiful day, gorgeous day. I'm home from work early. Normally don't get lovely afternoons these days, but I thought I would take advantage and sneak in filming this. I've been wanting to do it for a while and it just hasn't worked out yet, so here it is. Okay, so mostly today it's just spinning, dyeing, knitting. Yeah. So starting off, I have a finished spin. This is the Piney Woods Native that I've been working on for a while. It's all spun up and plied. This is a 2-ply. Yeah, really gorgeous. It's still kind of rather greasy, got some lanolin in it, and I guess I don't know what else to say about it. I've talked about it before. This is one of the endangered breeds listed on the Livestock Conservancy's Shave 'em to Save 'em program. It's listed there. And a friend who lives in North Carolina gave it to me, Megan. Hey, Megan. And yeah, really beautiful stuff. She had it all washed and then I carded it up and now it's all spun up. So this will be fun to have in a project someday. It may go into Ninja Chicken's or Maria Muscarella's Fleece Flight, which she designed to kind of showcase breeds, dyes, that kind of thing, just to be able to experiment with like 6 different breeds, dyes, etc. Yeah, so that's kind of what it's earmarked for, but maybe it won't. We'll see what I end up doing with it. Anyway, yeah, that's fun to have all done. Next finished objects are dye baths. So when I last talked, I was working on getting a sagebrush dye bath going, and I did. So I decided just to take a small portion of it and do a test with it. To see if I wanted this then to be the large quantity that I did for a sweater for my husband. So first I just did the ordinary sagebrush dye and got kind of a yellow, and immediately I was like, this is not quite as vibrant as I want it to be. It was, more of a dirty yellow. Here's a picture of that. And then I had been planning to use an iron pot, which is what I'd done in the past, but because I was looking at doing such a large quantity of it, my iron pot wasn't that big, and so I decided to try doing a solution with rusty nails and creating some, I don't know if it's iron sulfate or whatever it is, ferrous, blah, 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 I don't know, whatever it is that you get from that. So I did that. And I decided to do a little experiment with that as well because I was told that I should put vinegar in it. I think sometimes people even say like half water, half vinegar. Like you have your rusty nails and then you fill it up and then you get it from there. But I kind of was like, well, I bet that's not necessary because I've used an iron pot before and I haven't used vinegar. So it's probably not necessary. Maybe it speeds it up, but isn't necessary. So I had tons of rusty nails, so I just divided it into 2 spots, one of them with vinegar and water, and one of them just with water. And yeah, I think that's the case. I've only used this stuff with the vinegar because it did just happen faster, but I was looking at the one just in water, and I think I could totally use it at this point now as well. So yeah. So then what I did, I'm not showing it yet. So I had the yellow yarn already, and then after I'd gotten the solution ready, I put the solution back into the dye bath that I still had. I guess I could have just done it in normal water, but I still have the dye bath around, so I just put it in there. It immediately changed the color of the dye bath so incredibly. It was really fun to watch. Just like it turned from like a yellow color, a yellowy orangey color, to just dark green, but mostly just dark. I put my skein of pre-dyed yarn into it, and then just periodically, I would check on the color and see how it was, and I finally pulled it out, and this is it. I can't really tell if the color's right, so I'll definitely add some pictures trying to match the color. I think this is a nice color, and I've just been debating, like, do I want to do this for his sweater or not? It's definitely not exactly what I want, and he kind of says the same thing. It's just like, oh yeah, you know, that could work, but it's not exactly it. So right now I'm thinking I will probably wait, and at this point, November, I don't know that I'm going to get another yellow dye bath large quantity going. And so it'll probably have to wait till spring. So, which is unfortunate because I am dying to knit. See what I did there. Yeah, so right now what I'm kind of thinking, but maybe it'll be something else. Right now I'm thinking bindweed with iron sulfate, ferrous sulfate, whatever it is, iron solution. And so that'll happen in the summer. We've got tons of bindweed. It makes a nice yellow. Although I might want to do a test to see how light fast it is before I commit to all of that. Yeah, but I am pleased to have this yarn, and I think I might try to do something more in the sagebrush dye bath before I get rid of it, because I have a giant thing of it. Giant. And it'd be good to use it up. It's been so cold here, and then I'm working, and so it's just like frozen. And you know, in the morning, like I often have like an hour or two in the morning before I have to go to work, but everything's still just frozen. Like it takes a while to warm up, and so I'm like out here poking around at things, and it's just like, well, that walnut bath is still frozen with yarn in it. Anyway, I can't really do anything, and then I get home really late, and it's hard to do stuff at that point. So anyway, I sneak it in when I can, just trying to move things along. I figure that's like cleaning, right? I have to move the things along so they don't stagnate, but it's really just me fibering in my spare time. So anyway, this will be fun to use for something. I definitely want to swatch with it just to see, because I haven't swatched with it to make sure it matches the pattern. Or I think if it doesn't quite match, but if I like the fabric I'm getting from it, then I would just choose the size that would make it work for my husband and my swatch, if that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, some new yarn. Hopefully that swatch will happen soon, even though the rest of it probably won't happen for quite some time. But then maybe I'll do something else with this. That's the sagebrush. Next, last time I was talking about a black bean dye bath I wanted to get started. I did indeed do that, and here are the results. When I first pulled it out, it was much darker, and I did my normal. I let it dry and kind of hang out for a couple weeks, and then I rinsed it after that. And often when I do that, I'm just surprised at how nothing comes out. Like when I did the Hopi Black Sunflower seeds with the socks and some other things, like when I rinsed it, there was no color that came out. It was just like, no, I'm happy just hanging out in these socks. But with this, black bean does not stick quite as much. So it's been just super gorgeous and much darker, really pretty. It's still pretty, but definitely significantly lighter now. But yeah, I've been getting lots of blues with the Hopi Sunflower seeds in this, and I do still want to do the indigo dye bath. I haven't done it yet, but I did today look up how to do it, and I think I'm pretty motivated to get it done soon. So that will be coming. Especially because going on to the next thing, sorry, looking at my notes, yes, going on to the next thing, which is the walnut dye bath. So, walnut dye bath. When I first made it, first thing I put into it was the buckskins hides that I talked about last time that my husband got at a rendezvous last year, and we wanted to darken them up. So put those in and soak them nicely before. And I also threw in the leftovers from the socks that I had made. I just had a little bit of white left over, and so I thought, oh, this will be fun, let's throw it in here. So, I'll first show that. This is what came out of that. Yeah, it's pretty, I like it. And then I threw the hides in as well, and I think it changed it some. I did not take before and after pictures. I definitely think it's darker than it had been, but I think it could be a lot darker. But then before I quite realized, because that hadn't dried yet, then I decided to throw in that linen cloth that I had last time, just to start dyeing it, because I don't really want it white. Well, really what I'm thinking, because I think I just want it to be just like a ground cloth that I can use really easily. And I thought my husband loves camo, and I thought this could be fun to like try doing a camo naturally dyed thing for him, for us. So I thought, oh, walnut seems like a great way to start. You know, that could just be the base, and then I can try doing other stuff on top of it. Nothing happened. Basically, nothing happened with the linen. I left it in for a while, and nothing happened. I never boiled or like put heat to this. It was just kind of out, freezing and warming up as the days went by. Days and nights went by. Anyway, it's like it got a slight amount of color, but not much. Maybe it doesn't. Walnuts don't like linen so much, you know, these cotton or plant fibers. Anyway, don't know exactly. I think in my head, I think that walnut is going to be so powerful and potent because 10 years ago, 11 years ago, I was living in France and I was doing some woofing, which is working on organic farms. It was a really great way to travel for really cheap. You're not making any money, but you're not really having to spend much money either. Once you get there, you know, you're getting room and board, and then you just work, you know, 20, 25 hours a week and get to experience farms that way. Really, really great. But my sister and I were doing this together, and we did need money at this point in our travels. And the people that we were on this farm, Le Salve it was called, they knew that we were kind of looking for money options as well. We were there in the fall, and walnut harvest started in the area, and so they kind of recommended, oh, you know, they let us stay there with them still, so we still were sleeping there, but then we got to do some walnut harvests and make some money. And it is rough work, I have to admit. I mean, it's great doing the harvests. I really feel great that I've been able to do that type of work. But it is, like, definitely my takeaway from that is walnuts should be more expensive than they are. And, I mean, it's just kind of crazy. You know, you're just bending over, just, like, gathering them, right? My sister and I were very slow at this. Other people were just super fast, and we're just, like, we were much more thorough, though, right? We're just, like, getting every single one. And so walnuts have the hole, like the green, when it drops, its green hole around it. And this has some acids and things like that in it. So as you're just picking and picking and picking and picking, I mean, you can wear gloves, and that can help, like, it can help delay this, but it still is just going to happen because it can seep through the gloves, and anyway, it just stains your hands, your fingernails, everything brown. And it also, I mean, we weren't as fast, and so we weren't touching as many, and so it didn't, I mean, it would hurt and stuff, but the one guy who was just crazy fast, so fast, his hands were just like eaten away by these acids. I mean, it did a number on his hands. It was just like, whoa, that is crazy. So I always think that they're like going to be insanely powerful and potent, but I'm learning with dyeing with them now that, oh, that's like, because you're touching hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them, so it's maybe not as potent as I would think. So I think that's just to say, yeah, not as powerful as I think, and it maybe needs more help. I did also find out that using an iron sulfate, I really ought to find out what the word is for that, but doing like some iron with it can really darken it. So I'm kind of trying that with another failed thing right now. So, okay, yarn, buckskin, linen. Things are laying out drying, although they're dry. I should gather them in now. And then I put this up next to the copper dye that I had done, that's part of the giveaway. And I was like, oh, you know, these two colors, like, they're both kind of pale, but I mean, this is nice and pretty. And I just thought they looked really nice together. So I thought, oh, let's try putting in half of those into it to get this self-striping yarn that I'm wanting to do. It was really, really fun to create the long skein for it. I was in the backyard and just like, you know, what should I wrap this around to get this? You know, I was looking at some trees and I'm like, but then how would you get it off? You'd have to like, that wouldn't work, right? And then I realized I have stones. So it was really fun. I just chose like 2 different stones and just like went between the two, making this really big long loop. And it was really cool. My husband, when he came out, he was like, it's like a spider web out here. So that was fun. So the first one I did it from 2 that are quite far apart. And that one ended up being about 48 feet from one point all the way around, which felt pretty long to me. I mean, I think that's good. I was wanting to make sure that they were long enough stripes so that you could get like a thicker stripe, long enough loops that you could get a thicker stripe. But I thought for the second one, I was like, you know, I think I want to try doing a little bit shorter than that. So I chose a different rock to do it with. And that one ended up being about 38 feet. So it'll be interesting to see the difference, and I'll let the person who wins the giveaway be the one to choose which of those they want to try. I'll keep the other one. So I put half of those into the walnut dye bath, and it's been in there for a couple days, and it's not that strong at this point. So I think now maybe I just want to do the indigo dye bath and just throw the whole thing in. I don't know. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. I will probably announce the giveaway winner right now. In fact, I'm going to, and if it's not true, I'll just edit this part out. So, 2 people have commented, and which meant it was very fun. I know sometimes people use a random number generator, but I got to flip a coin, and Megan is the winner. Woo woo! Congratulations, Megan. The yarn is not yet ready, so let's wait. Maybe by the time I post this, the yarn will be ready, and I'll add a little segment in. Yes, indeed, I do have the finished yarn for the giveaway. So first off, I am going to show some pictures here of what it would look like after I pulled it out of the walnut dye bath. And it was okay, like it was pretty, and I think that it could work for something, but it wasn't exciting. It was just very pale, very subdued, and it didn't really excite my imagination. So I did get an indigo dye bath going. I'll talk about that more in the next episode, but I threw in some of this, or not threw in, I gently dipped some these 2 skeins in, and I think they're just gorgeous now. So the first one I've taken out of the daisy chain. I dyed it in a daisy chain, but I've taken it out, and so you can just see, is that the color? I think so. It's pretty dark there at the end, and then this will go on for a while. With the daisy chain, you can see there are parts that didn't dye quite as strong, but I like a little variation in the yarn, so hopefully, Megan, you don't mind either. You can see it's lightening up some. And getting back into some darker stuff. So there it is. I think it's really, really pretty. I'm really excited to see what you might do with it, Megan. Well, I don't know if you're taking this one. The other one, which I believe is the one that's a little bit longer, I've kept this one in the daisy chain, and this one actually has a little bit more variation in it. So here we'll start at this end, nice and dark. And then you can see it gets, you know, there's a distinct color change there. And then it gets dark again. So really, really pretty. I'm really excited about this. I just think it could make a really pretty hat or something like that. Maybe paired with something. I don't know. I'm not quite sure what I'll do with mine. Maybe Megan, you and I can coordinate and even do like a knit along or something like that. That could be really fun. So yay, I'm really excited, and I think you're actually going to be in town next week, so I'll be able to give it to you. Woohoo! All right. Yeah, but congratulations, Megan. I'm really excited to get that off to you. Let's see. What was I going to say? Walnut, 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 walnut. Iron sulfate is in there now. Oh, so that's what I did today, is I did add some iron sulfate into the walnut dye bath to see if that might help it darken up. I also think I could try, you know, heating it up. That might help if I'm not getting dark enough results. I was wanting to add the buckskins in again, but at this point, I don't know. I'm just feeling like things keep not working. Maybe it's fine and just let it go. We'll see. Okay, that's everything with the walnut. Next up, knitting. Okay, first thing I'll do knitting-wise is the hoarfrost. Again, this is by Ninja Chickens or Maria Muscarella, and I'd just barely started it last time, and I'm not quite halfway through yet, but this is a cowl, a pretty color work cowl, and I'll just kind of show what that color work's looking like right now, and just mention how much I love color work. I love it. I love it. It's just so much fun. I remember first hearing about it and just hearing that if you did both, I never remember that. If you both throw and pick, then, so I need to see what this new round is. If you both throw and pick, then you can hold one color in each hand, and the thought of that just was so magical to me. I just loved the thought, and like when I first finally did it, and I heard about it years before, but when I first finally did it, it was just everything I ever wanted. Nope. Anyway, I probably shouldn't knit and do this because I'm not really familiar enough with this round yet to be able to do it without looking. So, anyway. But now I'm in the middle of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. White. Blue. White. Okay. I just love, love, love those stars popping out now. So fun. So what's going to happen is after I probably have a little bit more to do. Oh, there's my floats if you want to see. A little bit more to do, and then basically I think it's just going to reverse, and then anything that's white now will be blue, and then it'll go the other way, and then this part will be white on the other side. Anyway, really fun idea. I like this pattern a lot. It's been fun to work on. It's kind of my on-the-go knitting right now. I also have work knitting, which I'm not talking about. I'll talk about it later. And the other thing I have is my Hatdana. So, oh, I can show you the picture now. I didn't before because I hadn't started. This is the Hatdana. Ta-da! And then she also can wear it in many different ways. And obviously I'm not going to look as glamorous as she does, but I still think it will function very well for my hair, I hope. Yeah, I have great visions and plans for it. I'm using thicker yarn. This is my hand spun, the only stuff I've ever done on a drop spindle. And it's thick, and it must have been a while since I've worked with my hand spun. Like, have I even done it much since I've started this podcast? I don't even know that I have. It's a dream. Oh, I just love working with my hand spun. It's just so cushy and beautiful, and this is what I have so far. It just, oh, it's so thick and dense, and I think it's just going to be so warm and cover my ears, and just, so lovely. So, you can see I'm at the end of my yarn, which means that I've been very motivated to also continue spinning up more. So this is what I have so far, and then I still have this stuff, and I'm thinking and hoping it should just be exactly the right amount. That's the plan. We will see when I get a little closer, once I actually join it into a band and stuff. Anyway, but in my mind, it's just going to work out perfectly. I'm going to have the exact right amount. I think it's going to work. It's just so fun to see how the color changes are happening. I adore these colors, just these teals and greens together, and I love how the stripes are happening. And we'll see when I get the other stuff going because it could be different, but you know, there were these green stripes at the bottom. I don't know how well you can see, but stripe. I can't hold and point at the same time. Maybe I can point here. Woohoo! There's a stripe here of green and a stripe here of green and a stripe here. And now I'm getting into this quite large stripe of green, which I think is really great because I was worried, and it's fine if it does it somewhat because, you know, obviously these rows are a lot shorter, and so you often get thicker things here and then thinner things here. So I'm pleased that how the yarn happened. There were just some smaller bits of stripes down here anyway, so it's just working out wonderfully and beautifully so far. Super, super pleased. I haven't been able to knit on it for a while because I'm out of yarn. It's been fun to spin. Every time I do it, every time I've done it, I've really liked it. I definitely think, like, if I didn't have the motivation to get this yarn, it's not what I would pick up, but every time I do, I really enjoy it. I'll be going out of town this weekend down to Parowan Gap, and definitely plan to bring this along and spin up there. I don't know, I really like spinning it outside. I don't know that I've ever spun it inside. I've thought about bringing it to work to like try to get a little bit in at work, but it just doesn't feel right. But maybe it would be great, I don't know. Yeah, I've been doing it in front of the fire a lot, which has been fun, even like in dwindling light or even when it's pretty dark. Just because you have the silhouette with the fire, it can work. It doesn't, you don't want to do it like forever and ever and ever, but for a while it's just like, oh yeah, that works. Okay, you're spinning. It's fun. So really been enjoying this. So not only am I dyeing to knit, I'm also spinning to knit. Next up, so this is now starting into my second year podcasting. I started last year. It was kind of my birthday present to myself, just to be like, yeah, let's go for it. Let's do it. Let's take a day and, troubleshoot, blah, blah, blah. And just, I'd been thinking and wanting to do it. And anyway, that was kind of a little present to myself. So anyway, so my birthday just happened again. And I got a book charkha for my birthday. It just arrived yesterday, and I'm super excited. This is actually, I believe, the third year out of 4 years that for my birthday I've gotten some type of spinning mail. So kind of a fun tradition. I've wanted a book charkha for a long time, and my friend Megan and then my friend Annie, who just went out and is living near Megan, she just got a book charkha, and Megan had just gotten one like right before her. And anyway, I was just like, I need a book charkha. I've wanted one for years. So I got one from the same person they did. This is New World Textiles. Anyway, here it is. I got it yesterday. I think I got it yesterday or the day before it arrived. And, I opened it and I was just like, I have the slightest clue how to use this thing now, like how to put it together. No idea. I did look up a little video. It ended up being by Joan Ruane, who I've come across before with spinning cotton stuff. She's quite prevalent. And it was really cool because she has the exact same one. I'm sure it's from the same place. This is supposedly from Gandhi's ashram. Anyway, so it was totally exactly the same. So everything she was doing and saying, it was just like, yep, that's mine. So I looked that up, kind of put it together quickly, and then haven't done anything with it more except right now, as I was waiting for my computer to boot up, I was like, ooh, let's try spinning with it. So I just barely tried spinning with it. My yarn is significantly thicker than the little stuff that she tried doing with it. The woman who sells it, she really tunes them up and stuff, so there was already like some yarn on it. Well, some very fine thread on it. Now there's yarn on it as well. So this is what I've done. You can see it's a lot thicker, and I think that's fine. I'm just gonna be learning on this, and whatever comes, I just want it to be fun and good. So when I bought this, I also decided to get some fiber from her. I was prompted to do so that I could get free shipping. I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. And anyway, I was looking at different things, kind of contemplating different things, and I ended up deciding to get quite a large quantity. She had like 400 grams of sheepish cotton. So this is 20%, I forget what type of sheep, 20% wool, and there is a specific breed, 80% cotton. And I just thought that sounded lovely. So I got it, and I just thought, wow, this could just be like what I spin on this charkha, because I do have some other cotton, but I just think that I would have been confused. I can get confused sometimes. It just would have been like, what do I actually do with it? What's it for? Blah, blah, blah. And I just think this is going to be great. I can just spin, 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 spin. I imagine this is going to take me years to spin. And then at some point I'm going to have some cotton and I want to make myself a shirt out of it. Again, long-term project. We'll see. And these are tiny spindles that I'm definitely spinning thicker. Who knows what it's going to be like, but this is the idea right now. So, spinning sheepish cotton for the charkha. I'm quite proud of myself because I can be quite a purist. I can often just want things to be one thing. And I do feel like I'm getting away from that now, and it can like see the value of blending and things like that. And anyway, but I am pleased that I was fine with not, I mean, like right now it's like, oh, I'm figuring out, oh, you can blend different wools, but still like cotton and wool, or, you know, plant fibers, cellulose fibers, and protein fibers. This is new for me, but I just thought, you know, I bet it's going to be lovely, and it's so lovely and soft. I think I'm going to love it. And yeah, so far, I mean, I'm not spinning great, but like I was spinning. I did it. So that's cool. Very cool. There are 3 spindles that come with it. You're supposed to spin really, really fine, so it should take forever to do a spindle, but I probably won't be spinning that fine, so I might fill them up quick, which will be encouraging. Okay, that's the charkha. What else have I got? Last thing I want to talk about is the garden. I think it's been a couple episodes since I've really mentioned the garden, so just want to say apples first. I have a pink lady apple tree, and I just didn't quite know when to harvest the apples this year. When I looked it up, it was saying that pink ladies take a really long growing season. The thing I came across said that they're like one of the very first apple trees to blossom, and then they're one of the very last apples that you pick. They say, you know, it's really common to, you know, have the blossoms covered in frost in the springtime, and then also to be dusting snow off the apples in the fall. And so it was kind of saying like more like late October. Obviously things can vary a lot depending on where you are, and I wasn't finding great info about like when to actually do it. We had a crazy cold snap that I talked about already, and I don't know, I just didn't pick them because I was just like, well, I don't know when to pick them. Anyway, it definitely ended up being like kind of in the midst of the crazy cold snap. I'm just like, oh, those apples aren't looking so good anymore. So I brought them in. They were beginning to get, you know, just not as crisp. And so I thought, ooh, I'd already picked some before, so I do still have like some fresh, nice ones. But with the last and the bulk of them, half of them, I thought, oh, I can make applesauce. I've never made applesauce before. Actually, when I was on that farm woofing at La Salve, I remember them making applesauce with the trees. You know, there were bug bites and things like that, and just cutting out all that stuff and making a big thing of not applesauce, like it was chunkier than that, and it's just incredible. And I've always wanted to do it, and I did it for my first time, and it is so delicious. Delicious stuff. I ended up getting probably like 2 pints of it. I had like a dozen apples that I put in it. They're kind of smallish apples, you know, medium small, and delicious. So I ate up a bunch at first, and then I kind of put some in bottles, and we've been eating that on French toast and cornbread and stuff. Yeah, in fact, it inspired me to make cornbread. I'm like, this would be really good on cornbread, so I made my first cornbread of the season. Yum. From last year's corn. Didn't get a huge corn crop this year, which is fine. I think I mentioned this already because I got a big corn crop the year before, so I still have lots of leftovers. I got my garlic planted this year, and I'm really, really pleased. I think I mentioned before when I harvested the garlic, I was quite pleased with the harvest, and then I, you know, had put aside some bulbs to then plant, and just had, when I was then planting, it was just like, whoa, I've got a lot here set aside for this. So I ended up planting probably 2 or 3 times the amount that I've ever planted before. It feels really good to have grown my stock so that I can be doing that. And then I even just still had more, so I want to give some away. It's a little late. I really ought to give some away so someone else can get those in the ground and hopefully start their own garlic crop. yeah, so that feels really good, and I'm excited that I've got something in the garden already for next year. I love that. I just love that then in the springtime, before I even do anything, there's already stuff that starts coming up without me just when it's ready to do that. It's just really encouraging. Um, uh, Quickly, I've been harvesting Brussels sprouts. So I still have Brussels sprouts and cabbage and a little bit of kale and chard in the garden, so those are still kind of out there. Chickens flapping around. Can you see them? Yeah, I think you can. Okay, the other really, really exciting thing I wanted to share is when I was harvesting the potatoes this year, great potato harvest this year, again, last year as well, there were lots of like little teeny tiny ones, and I thought, these still want to keep growing, I think. And I decided that I was going to that I was going to try doing some indoor potatoes. So got a bucket, put some holes in the bottom, put some dirt, and planted these little guys, and they're in the furnace room. It's actually a great spot to do plants in the winter, like to have a little greenhouse area in the house, because it does have a south-facing window. Like, our house is kind of weird, and we don't have a lot of south-facing windows, but there's this random little one in the furnace room, which is why we don't have one in the bedroom, because the furnace room's there instead. We're on the north side instead. So I have that, and I wasn't really great at keeping it watered or remembering it, but one of them is growing, and I think it's just totally gonna, yeah, I think it's gonna just be doing well. Anyway, so I'm super excited and happy about that. I think it'd be really great to get some shelves in there as well in front of that window, and have a tomato plant, and just be able to do some different things in there. So that's a fun advancement for gardening and growing things this year. Whew. Okay, I've been talking a lot, and I think I crammed it all in, and I'm done. There we go. It's a beautiful day. I think the shade will be hitting me soon, so got it all in. Love you guys, and happy crafting, knitting, spinning, dyeing, whatever it is that you're up to. Hope you're really, really enjoying it. Yeah, bye guys.